Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. So, we are this week focusing on our heart chakra, our heart center. So I invite you to start with your feet about hip width apart, wherever's comfortable, slight bend in the knees, and just place one hand and the other hand over the center of your chest, over your center of your heart space. And with your head in line with your spine, just soften or close your eyes. So they say having an open heart allows you to cultivate a deep connection with your inner self, an acceptance of yourself and others, and to open your heart to the world around you. Now, our heart center is connected with the element of air, which makes sense because it's around this area where we breathe. And heart energy is about giving and receiving. Some of us are really good at giving, not so good at receiving. Some people are really good at receiving, not so good at giving. And we want to do both. We want to be able to give and receive. And breathing is the ultimate giving and receiving. So when we breathe in, we're receiving. When we breathe out, we're giving. So I just want you to eyes closed for a moment and just check in. Just simply take your attention to your heart space and ask yourself some questions. What do you feel when you focus there? Does it feel, for a start, does it feel expansive or contracted? Does it feel warm, hot or cold? Does it feel empty or full? Does it feel light or heavy? If you could get a sense or an image or a symbol of your heart right now, what would that be? So would it be like, a heart made of stone, for example, or would it be wrapped in chains or hidden in a box or behind a wall? Or is it like a garden that's beautiful, flowers open and expansive? And remember, there's no rights or wrongs. Whenever we ask ourselves these questions, there's no rights or wrongs. And sometimes things will come to you, whether words or images, whatever, that seem really like, well, that doesn't really make much sense. It's not about making sense, okay? It's about connecting with yourself on an energetic, spiritual level and allowing whatever arises to arise. So the answers may come in whatever form. They may come in a sensation. So you may feel something. And sometimes you might not be able to describe those sensations. That's okay. It's like, for example, this is a strong example, and grief is the negative energy of this energy center. When you feel grief, sometimes it feels like your heart's being crushed, right? Or squeezed or strangled or contracted. Or like, for example, when you're experiencing grief, sometimes it feels like the breath catches in your throat. All those kind of things. And so when we're talking about symbolism, again, it may not make logical sense. You might have an image of a tree that's kind of like rooted and firm, but its branches wave about because you're open to giving and receiving. Or you might get a sensation of doors being closed because you've been hurt in the past and now you're trying to protect yourself. So allow whatever to arise in whatever form it does. And you can, if you wish, choose the simple affirmation, I choose love. So I choose love over anger, over resentment. I choose love over frustration. I choose love over criticism. Because if you are capable of feeling, being, loving towards another being, whether that be an animal or a human or even a plant, like me, for example, the other day, I was doing the horse's water and there were these little bugs, beetle type things that I spent ages trying to fish them out, rescue them from the water. So if you are capable of feeling something for another living being, whether it's a plant, doesn't matter, you are capable of loving, you are capable of experiencing love for yourself. We're taught that it's weird to love ourselves, that it's vain or whatever, and it really isn't, because that means that it's okay to be mean, and that's just nonsense. You wouldn't have a young child and say to them, oh, you're ugly, you're useless, you're this, you're that, the other. You just wouldn't do it, and yet we do it to ourselves. So instead, choose love. It might be too big a jump to go from self-loathing to self-love, but to choose love, to choose to focus on loving thoughts, loving feelings. And you might feel some resistance when you first say that. You might feel a kind of tightening, very subtle, or a kind of like, oh no, I can't do that, I might get hurt, or this kind of stuff. To be loving means to be vulnerable, and that's, I might get ridiculed. All those kind of things. We've got all these stories and all this trauma that often gets stored in our heart space. So just keep repeating, I choose love. You may not know how yet, but choose it. So heart, connection, compassion, acceptance. Connection, compassion, acceptance. And gently opening your eyes, releasing your hands, keeping your feet kind of around hip width apart. Soften your knees so you can feel the weight sinking down into your heels. As you breathe in, imagine the breath rising up through your body, all the way up. So if you're filling your whole body, like filling a vessel with water or fluid, as you breathe out, imagine the breath flowing all the way out. This time as you breathe in, allow the hands to follow the movement of breath. Exhaling, allow the hands to float down. And you can imagine roots. You can visualize your roots extending from the soles of your feet down into the earth. You can imagine drawing energy up through those roots, up through your body, right up to the crown of your head. And as you breathe out, imagine that breath, that energy flowing all the way down and out through your feet down into the earth. And feel a slight pulse. So imagine like a balloon. When you fill a balloon with air, it starts to lift away from the earth, right? When you let the air out, it starts to sink back down to the earth. So feel that sense of lightness, that kind of very subtle lifting away from the earth as you breathe in, and that very subtle grounding coming back to the earth as you breathe all the way out. So breathing in fully and completely, breathing out fully and completely. Now bring the hands in front of your heart, inhale, open the hands out, and exhale, bringing them back, not quite touching. So inhale, again the hands are mirroring the movement of energy in the body. So as you breathe in, your heart space, your lungs, your ribs expand. As you breathe out, it all contracts again. And you may start to feel or sense energy between your hands. It might just feel like warmth, or it just might feel like a very subtle resistance. If you can, once you know what we're doing, close your eyes and just notice how it feels as your body moves. The heart chakra, the element is air. So light, free, expansive, and think of air. So air can be like, when it's kind of angry, it's the wind, it's a storm, or it's a gentle breeze on a summer's day. Taking the feet a little bit wider. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down and come into a little kind of squat. Inhale, rise, gathering chi. Exhale, imagine bringing it down into your dantian, your hara, your center. In and out. And sometimes the hardest challenge for us on the mat is to slow down. Everything's done at such a rush nowadays. We have so many distractions. And one thing that I kind of ask myself is, how come, right, we've got all these supposed labor-saving devices, we've got all these smart gadgets and stuff, how come we're still so busy? And apart from my phone, I don't have anything smart. I do not have a smart speaker, I don't have a smart TV, I do not have Alexa or Siri or whoever, whatever. I don't have a smart, I just won't. Nope. The only thing smart is me. As you come up, take the feet out a little bit wider, turn the toes out this time. Big breath in, exhale, sinking down deeper. Send your knees over your toes. Try and keep your shoulders over your hips so you're not tipping forward, so you're warming up into your hips. Breathing in and out. You can close your eyes. See how slowly you can move and feel your body moving through space. Notice the sensations. You might notice little pockets of temperature change. So as you move your arms through the space around you, you might notice some parts of the space around you feel denser than others. You might feel slight resistance, and you might feel some areas that feel warmer, colder. Oh, one more here. Then coming back up, bring your feet back underneath your hips. Again, soften your knees. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, soften and sink down. Inhale, imagine a sense of lightness as if you're taking off like a bird. Exhale, sinking down. This time as you come up, shift the weight a little bit more onto the right foot. Open out your wings. Exhale, sink down. Then stay coming up, take the weight onto the left foot, so as if you're about to peel the other foot off. Find a point to focus on. Just start off imagining shifting the weight from one foot, so taking the weight onto the other foot. And if and when you feel ready, you can start to lift. And imagine the breath moving you, okay? The breath is moving the body. So it's focusing on the movement rather than the form. So don't worry about what shape you're making. You can imagine, it's actually called crane breath. So you can imagine like a crane, but like a stork, right? Majestic, big wings, standing on one leg, but just focus on that breath, moving your body. So sometimes I can do balance really well, other days my balance is rubbish, and that's just being human. As you lift one knee, keep the other knee slightly bent. And relax back down. And keeping the feet kind of here. You can do a standing kriya. We start off with the hands out as if you're kind of pushing the wall away. As you breathe out, you pull the elbows in and you make a fist with your hands, but your thumb is pointing inwards in towards each other. So we inhale, hands out at shoulder level, heart level. Exhale as you pull them in. You breathe in and out again. So we exhale through the mouth. So it becomes like a striker breath of fire. Keep going, soften your knees, soften or close your eyes. Remember, I choose love. And release. Just bring your hands on your hips. Close your eyes for a moment and meditate as you stand. Then open your eyes, take a bit wider. Just watch for a second. Very similar to a move that we've done before, but just watch. You reach the arms up, hands kind of floppy, hands, wrists relaxed. You're going to swing through, you're going to swing a couple of times like this. And then come up, keeping the wrists relaxed. So we inhale through the nose, exhale. And inhaling out, keeping the belly firm. Exhale, mouth. So continue in your own time. Again, if you can, eyes closed. So you're breathing all the air out. Thighs firm. Remember, I choose love. I choose love over criticism. Over any shoulds. Don't should all over yourself. Then come back up to standing. Release the arms. Bring the feet in. Now just stay there while I demonstrate the next part of the exercise. And I will also show you the option. So options are to be in plank position, hands under shoulders, keeping your abs braced. And we're going to exhale, step the foot. We're trying to step the foot outside the hand, keeping the back leg strong, keeping the core strong. And if you can't manage that, if you can't manage to bring the foot right outside the hand without using your leg, then the alternative is to start from a forward bend with your hands inside the feet, using blocks if you wish, and exhale, stepping back. So we're coming into the same kind of position, but from this position. So your hands stay glued inside your foot and you step back. Use blocks if you need to, because you need to bring the foot outside your hand. So you can take that option if you wish, or come into plank pose, firm up your belly, firm up your legs, look slightly forward, scoop the belly button in, take the breath in. As you breathe out, bring the right foot forward, get the left leg strong, inhale back, exhale other side, and inhale back. So it's kind of dynamic exercise, so it gets your heart rate up. Again, if you can't get your foot right outside your hand, so if it's only coming like here, then take the other option that I showed you. Don't let your head drop. Keep lifting through your belly. Eye gaze forward, whichever variation you're taking. Really feel like you're using your core muscles. So we get that heart rate up. Just a few more seconds. And then come into a hanging forward bend. And soften your knees, roll up through the spine. Coming all the way up to standing. The last part of the Kriya involves Ujjayi Pranayama. So, like Darth Vader breathing. Now imagine you're trying to fog up a window and you go to clean the window. You want to find that same kind of sensation, that just one on the exhale. We're going to do it with the mouth closed. So to start with, we're going to practice it with the mouth open. Once you feel you've got that sensation, then start with the mouth open, close it halfway through the breath, and still feel that sensation. So like often called ocean breath as well, because you can really hear it in your ears. So take a nice deep breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. So you can really hear it and feel it in your throat. So you're kind of closing the epiglottis a little bit. If you've managed to master that, and if you don't get it straight away, that's fine. Just keep going. Just imagine again you're trying to Get your breath. You can even have your hand in front of your face. Just notice a normal breath. So breathing out through your mouth. Then notice that when you go, you should really feel the difference between just a normal and a breath. So if it helps, try it with your hands so you can really feel. Then once you can feel it, once you've got that sensation, start off with the mouth open and close it halfway like this. And once you're sure you can feel it in your throat, you can try that a couple of times if you wish. Once you're sure you can feel it in your throat, then continue doing it with the mouth closed. So whether you need to do it with the mouth closed or open, doesn't matter. As you breathe in, open your arms wide. As you exhale with that Ujjayi Pranayama, give yourself a hug. Drop your chin towards the chest, stretch out the back of the body. Inhaling, open. Exhaling, see if you can switch hands again. Give yourself a hug, drop your chin forward, and just continuing your own time. Big breath in. You can think, I choose. On the exhale, love. I choose love. And if it helps, bring to mind someone that you love. It doesn't matter whether they're still on this physical plane or not. Someone, something, whether it be human, whether it be animal, whatever it is that you love, and focus on those sensations that you feel within you, and then add it to the affirmation, I choose love. Release, take a moment, hands on hips, close your eyes, and just noticing how you feel. I'm going to repeat those exercises, starting off with Bastrika. So hands out, palms up, exhale. And really skim your ribs and pull it in. For a second. And be aware of all and any sensations in your body. And exercise 2. Take the feet wide, have your wrists nice and relaxed. Breathe in, exhale. If you can, close your eyes. Thighs firm, belly firm. Once more. Rise up, release the arms, bring the feet in. You can either come forward, bending your knees, bring your hands, inside your feet. Maybe you can use blocks if you need to, but you really want your hands inside your feet. And think of it lifting up through your core, so using your tummy muscles. If not, alternatively, coming back into plank position and really firm up the thighs. Make sure you're not dropping the hips down. Pull the tummy in. Relax the shoulders. Breathe in. As you breathe out, step one foot forward. Keep the other leg strong. Inhale, lift up and back. Exhale, switch. Inhale, back. And continue whichever variation you're doing. Eye gaze, looking forward. And try and think of using your core muscles rather than your arms. You will use your arms a little bit, but mostly focusing on your core again, so we're getting the heart right up as well. I'm going to come down onto the mat. So everybody come down onto the mat and find your way into a sitting position. So we're going to do that last exercise with Ujjayi breathing. This time we're going to do it sitting. So take your time to get set up with cushions, bolsters, blocks under knees, using chair, whatever you need to. Again, just take a couple of practice breaths for that Ujjayi breathing. So even if you got it right first time, again, practice a couple of times this time. Use your hand if that helps. Try and warm up your hand as much as possible, and then do it a few times, starting off with the mouth open and gradually closing it. Until you can really feel and hear it, but focus on the feeling, the sensation, more than anything else. And you've got that. Inhale, open the arms. Exhale, hug. And inhaling, open. And exhaling, trying to switch the arms each time. And just go at your own pace. Then come up, relax your arms. And bring yourself into Shavasana. So lay yourself down, using any props, cushions, blankets that you may need. If your head feels like it's tilting back, you can use a cushion or blanket under your head. If you wish, you can place your hands over your heart space, or you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Or have the arms down beside you, whatever instinctively feels right for you. And soften or close your eyes. Again, thinking about the fact that having an open heart center and allows you to cultivate a deep connection with your inner self, an acceptance of yourself and others, and to open your heart to the world around you. So to say to allow a deep connection, that might sound kind of strange because how can we not have a connection with ourselves? But so many of us are disconnected. We're disconnected from our body. I know I was for a very long time, and it's something I have to work on maintaining. I can go through periods of self-loathing, if you like, periods of not listening to my body or berating my body. All that kind of thing is a kind of disconnection. When it's we treat our body as if it's something something we have to put up with. That's a disconnection. When we're just focusing on the things that don't work or the things we don't like, that's a disconnection. And so, we aren't taught these kind of things. In fact, all society, advertising, etc., is kind of designed to make us feel inferior in some ways. All advertising is about, if you buy this or wear this or look like this, you'll be happier, you'll be accepted, you'll be blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, we're constantly searching for these things. We're constantly trying to change ourselves, to lose weight or to dye our hair or whatever, to try and feel better about ourselves, where actually it starts from within. And I can come up with 101 reasons to not like myself. I don't like getting older, for example. But when I'm on the mat or when I'm doing something that I love, I forget about all that. And if it wasn't for my body, I wouldn't be able to do the things I love. I wouldn't be able to stroke the cat here. I wouldn't be able to practice or teach. So, and this relationship is the longest relationship we'll ever have. We don't want it to be a toxic relationship. You want to treat yourself the way you would treat someone you care about. So an acceptance of yourself, an acceptance that nobody's perfect, that, there's not a single person in the world who hasn't made mistakes. There's not a single person who probably doesn't, pick on some flaw that they have or think that they have. An acceptance of others, also seeing that we're more similar than we are different. We all have the same kind of fears, the same kind of desires. We all want to be healthy, happy, safe, we just go about it in different ways. So cultivating an acceptance of self and others, and also a connection with the world around you, so that you don't feel separate to the world outside. You don't feel separate to the birds, the bees, the trees, etc. You feel part of it. And that's an ongoing practice, okay? It's an ongoing practice. But each time you start to doubt yourself, each time you start to criticize yourself, you can return to I choose love. It can be a big jump to go from, just love yourself, blah, 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 blah. It's hard sometimes to undo years of self-loathing, years of conditioning, years of beliefs, but being willing to. Choosing love doesn't mean you think you're perfect, doesn't mean you automatically love yourself, just means that you're going to choose to focus on the energy of love and work towards showing, as I said earlier, if you are capable or have ever been capable of showing love, kindness, compassion to another other than yourself, whether that be a plant, a rock, a river, a person, whatever, then you are capable of feeling love and you are capable of loving yourself, because you are someone too. You are someone too. You are important too. Just as I saved those little beetle things from the water. They're tiny little things, some people say it's inconsequential, they shouldn't have got in the water. But they have every right to be here as much as I do. So if you're capable of feeling that kind of emotion for someone else, then you're capable of feeling it towards yourself. And yes, your mind will come with, but I don't like this, and I don't like the grey hairs, and I don't like my skin not being as tight as it used to, and I don't like blah, 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 blah. But that's not who you are. That's not who you are. And often the route to loving yourself is to remove the blocks. So it's not about going out and finding something. It's already there. You already have the ability. You just have to remove the things that are stopping you from loving yourself. And again, it's an ongoing practice. I work at it. I work every morning. I get up, I look in the mirror, and I say to myself, good morning, beautiful. I love you. I'm proud of you. You are so strong. You are so resilient. You are so courageous. I love you. And at first, it's really hard. And you'll be like, oh, I don't love you at all. I hate it. But the more you say it, the more you'll believe it. And actually, your face will literally change. Your face and body will change in response to your attitude. And you can stay here a while longer if you wish, or you can choose to start to stretch out your arms and legs, moving in whatever way feels good right now. If and when you're ready, you're bringing yourself up to sitting. When you get there, rub your palms together, generate some heat. And again, bring to mind that someone or something might be the same thing as earlier, it might be someone different. Just bring to mind someone or something who you love. So it can be Lulu here, it can be absolutely anything. And feel that sensation, that inner warmth, that, oh, I love you kind of sensation. And imagine that energy in your hands. And then imagine that energy going in through your heart space, filling your body with that love. Because love's not something you get. You know, someone can do loving things for you and you feel nothing. You know, someone can say, oh, I love you, and you don't feel a thing. Love is inside of you. It's an emotion that you generate. And I want you to start learning to give it to yourself. Because we can all come up with 100 reasons to hate ourselves. Start coming up every day, telling yourself at least 2 things that you love about yourself. So the other day, I said to myself, I love the fact that I spent 20 minutes trying to get those bugs out of the water. And I started crying. Because it's like, yeah, it sounds so silly, but I love that about myself. Namaste. Namaskar. Any questions, any comments? Mwah! Let me know.